But the fact that Ryan, has gone through 3 top trainers that would have done a great job, Eddie Reynoso, Joe Goosen, and Derrick James.
Correct.
And he's not training with neither of them. He's training with his dad.
Did Ryan Garcia ever allow those trainers to be the boss?
That's why he's back with his dad, because he's the boss. That's why.
Yeah.
Look, Joe Goosen, I know Joe Goosen. My brother used to train with him. He's not going to just let you get away with stuff like that. Derrick James shouldn't either. Eddie Reynoso doesn't need. He's made so much money with Canelo that if you want to come to me, it's going to be under my rules. And if that didn't work, then Ryan's back. So that's I give that big advantage to Barrios to even pull that off.
See, that's the thing about boxing, and Big Baby Miller pointed it out, because there's no structure. We need some kind of structure. In the NFL, the guy has to sit there for the media interview. He shows up on time. He's got to do it. And to give you an NFL analogy, think about the Broncos, right? When they had Russell Wilson over there and he had his own office and everything. And it was nothing, it was dysfunctional. Then they hired Sean Payton.
Cut it out.
As a coach, that's like going to train with Goosen or going to train with a world-class trainer, right? And you knew as soon as Sean Payton got there, ain't no one's going to have their own office. And you turn around a couple years later, and they're great. They're in the playoffs, right? That's the thing in boxing, when fighters want it comfortable, right? Sometimes when Miguel Cotto would want to train in certain places because it was more comfortable for him, I thought, I want to see the Miguel Cotto when it's uncomfortable, right? And Cotto's a great fighter, of course, and a serious person. But the fighter really has a little too much control when they reach a certain level sometimes of their own career, which is good in one way, but in another way can limit them athletically. Because boxing is not a comfort.
Max Kellerman breaks down the Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios fight, emphasizing that Ryan's raw talent alone won't be enough against Barrios without discipline, structure, and consistent training. Boxing isn't a comfort business.
It's not a comfort business.
But do you think it's more of his opponent, where maybe I could get away with training with my dad, compared to if I'm fighting a top dude?
It'd be a big mistake to underestimate him.
Right, and it's like everyone thought he was going to win that fight, and Rolly just outboxed him. Rolly outboxed him and looked good doing it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's crazy. I wish that Ryan, because he's so talented, I wish he would stick to a coach and really just follow the instructions.
Ryan gonna win this fight. He gonna win it.
Max and Robert Garcia praise Ryan's skills but warn that instability in his training camp could hold him back against Barrios' dedication. Meanwhile, both fighters are exchanging warnings and challenges ahead of the fight.
Everybody says, left hand, make sure that's up, you gotta protect it, blah, blah, blah. That's what I would imagine he's saying. And gotta take that away. It's probably, other little things like that. They drill a lot of just keeping the hands up all day long. So it's like here, 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 here. But, this freestyle type of boxing, with technique is gonna overwhelm this man.
It was a great experience. He's definitely one of a kind. I took a lot from that fight, just being in there with somebody with his timing, his skill, his speed. Yeah, just gonna use that, in every way, to grow as a fighter.
Your opponent on the 21st, Garcia, hasn't actually won a fight officially since 2023. He's been through a lot of controversies, the scandal with Haney, and then the loss against Rolly Romero. What do you make of all that?
I don't make much of all the. I have somebody who's trying to take my title, and I'm looking just to go out there and defend.
So you're looking to put on a big performance, stylistically, what you're going to come with?
Stylistically, I think this is going to be very...
Mario Barrios vows to exploit Ryan Garcia's style, focusing on every weakness he's noticed, and is determined to defend his belt with relentless intensity.
And, just, show why, I'm...
Says he hasn't felt any different since his trainer left and remains fully focused on preparing for Mario Barrios.
That he's working with a trainer you're familiar with, then...
Oh, yeah, in my eyes, But, hey, because I know I've already said some stuff that guy's already told him. But again, like he said, boxing is one-on-one. At the end of the day, he's a free thinker, I'm a free thinker.
Ryan said, Joe's not going to stop this fight. It's going to be a physical fight, a bloody fight. You're smiling when you're hearing that. Is that the kind of fight you want?
Not necessarily that it's the fight I want, but it's never a fight that I shy away from. gone out of my shield before. Like I said, you know, every time I step in there, you know, I give it, you know, whatever I have that day. And if that's the way like this fight goes, if it ends in a bloody battle, then, you know, it does, you know, and I never shied away from that.
I respect that. I honestly do. I do see that in him. He definitely gives everything he got in that ring.
Ryan Garcia's training camp in Los Angeles highlights intense workouts, sharp combinations, focused drills, and serious preparation.
Lock up top 3. Lock up top. Lock up top 3-2. Yeah.
Mario Barrios insists he's fully focused on defense, determined not to let Ryan Garcia take his belt, and is protecting his championship pride. Wade Plemons talks about the southpaw stance, noting how it changes a fighter's approach in the ring. He appreciates seeing Ryan's analytical side, the version of him that studies opponents carefully before big fights. Wade mentions that Ryan has been watching fighters like Keith Thurman and Abel Ramos to prepare for Mario Barrios, pointing out that both gave him tough nights. He wonders how Ryan's freestyle boxing style can apply lessons from those fights to handle Barrios, who is known as one of boxing's best finishers.
Looking just to go out there and defend.
So you look to put on a big performance, stylistically, what you're going to come with?
Stylistically, you know, I think this is going to be a very exciting fight. You know, Garcia, he's explosive, he's dangerous, and but I think on a boxing level, there's no like competing with us. I think I'm the better fighter.
You just said you're the better fighter. Who do you put more on the line with, your title or his credibility?
Ryan reflects on his previous fight with Devin Haney. He admits that, although he dropped Haney during the match, he didn't finish him due to conditioning issues. Ryan regrets not getting the knockout in the 11th round, acknowledging that he was holding back and playing around too much. He insists that next time he'll be fully focused. Wade responds with intensity, warning that if they fight again, Ryan could be finished and might never box again. He stresses how important the matchup is, saying it could be the biggest fight in America. Both recognize the high stakes, and the conversation ends on a note of anticipation with the fight just 9 days away.
Tough nights for Mario Barrios, but I'm interested to see what Ryan takes away from those fights. What can Ryan and his style, that kind of freestyle boxing he says he does, what can he implement from either of those guys to beat Barrios?
One of the best finishers in boxing. Like, I know you didn't finish Devin Haney, but you had him drown.
I saved him. I should have knocked him. I just didn't have the conditioning.
I think it still bothers you, huh?
Yes, because I should have knocked him out in that 11th, man. I was playing around too much. Yeah. And I was like, ha, ha, like, bro. But next time, that next time, buddy,
there we go again.
You won't have a next time. I'm finishing you. You will never box again if we fight again, and you know that. And I have vowed to that. If we fight again, you will never box again. I promise you that.
Gee, this is what I'm saying, bro. We need this fight.
Mario Barrios talks about Ryan Garcia as an opponent with respect for his speed, power, and confidence. He acknowledges that Ryan has had a strange recent stretch in the ring. Barrios points to the disappointing loss to Roy Romero and the impressive victory over Devin Haney, but he also notes the distractions around Ryan, like the test controversy, which could have affected him mentally. Despite these ups and downs, Barrios says he ultimately wishes Ryan well.
When people think he'll lose, when it's a different challenge to him, even though the Rolly fight was a huge challenge. It was a world title shot, right? But you think back through Ryan's career in the fights where he performs better. Oscar Duarte fight, he thought Oscar De La Hoya and all of Golden Boy was against him. Obviously, the Devin Haney fight, no one thought he'd win. The Luke Campbell fight, you know, Luke was an Olympian, so that was a big deal as well. The Gervonta Davis fight, he just lost. I mean, yes, the weight cut, whatever, but Ryan lost. But the mentality of Ryan, that's the thing that's so all over the place from time to time that you just don't know what Ryan you're going to get. I don't know what Ryan we're going to get in the Mario Barrios fight. He's saying all the right stuff. He's trained hard, right? He's acting like this is the one, but mentally is it, right? Because he kind of said the right stuff. He was a little quieter last time with the Rolly fight, but he said the right stuff, and it's hard to know, dude. It is, because another thing you worry about, I keep looking at this picture of Ryan, I'm seeing it.
When asked about Ryan's current form, Barrios admits it's tough to know exactly where he stands as a fighter. He explains that his preparation is centered on facing Ryan at his absolute best, treating training and strategy as if the strongest, most extraordinary version of Ryan will show up. Barrios calls everything else, the controversies, media narratives, and distractions, background noise that doesn't affect his preparation. He stresses that he's ready to face Ryan in the ring no matter which version shows up. If Ryan is at his peak, Barrios knows he'll have to rise to the challenge. If Ryan performs below his best, that will be on him to handle. Barrios' approach is professional and disciplined, fully focused on strategy, skill, and the fight itself.
At Ryan as an opponent, obviously I'll put respect on the speed, the power, the confidence, and all that, but it's been a weird stretch for him in the ring, to be fair. The lifeless loss to Rolly Romero, the spectacular victory over Devin Haney, but obviously the drug test, everything that went on around that mentally, and certainly at the end of the day, we wish Ryan well. How do you sort of gauge where he's at as a fighter entering this fight?
It's hard to say really, where exactly, he's at, but I just had to prepare as if, I have a focused Ryan in front of me, as they're saying. And yeah, just, everything else kind of just is just background noise, wait to look at Ryan's, at his best performances, when he has looked.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.